Back, ladies and gentlemen, we're going into our last best of one. And it's time to see if the upsets will continue, because that's all we've had so far today. The favourites clearly aren't the favourites. We clearly know nothing. Stats, research, matchups, no idea what we're talking about, really.
Yeah.
Just best of ones. People were having that argument on Twitter not so long ago. Best of ones aren't random. Well, clearly they are.
I wouldn't say they're random. Would you say they're random?
Yes. That's why I get paid the big bucks.
Forget this guy. Best of ones are not random. Of course, there is a more bigger likelihood that you will get upsets.
Is this because your team winning best of ones better?
No. No.
Are they?
Make him think.
Sometimes they do.
There we go.
Don't say the wrong thing. But definitely, they can be a little bit random. You don't know what they're walking into as a favorite against the underdog. They always have this surprise factor coming in. They're not coming in with the full 6 maps. They can eliminate 3 of them instantly and get a surprise game plan for you. We saw nothing of the T sides in the last map between Budapest and Hungarian mix or whatever we're gonna call them. It was a strange game to watch, but definitely best of ones have not been good for the favorite teams today at all.
So when we come into this game, Enterprise taking on Wisla Krakow. Who's the favourites in this one?
Numbers point of view, it's Wisla Krakow.
Well, I'm afraid to say it because the other team are just.
But that's what the numbers indicate.
This game is the most even of them all. I'm looking at these 2 teams, Enterprise and Wisla Krakow, and they're in the same kind of group of teams. Tier 3 kind of scene, those kind of events. And you never know with those teams. Like we saw today, it's you don't know who's gonna pop up on a certain day. And out of all 4 best of 1 games today, I think this one is the most even, and maybe that's why the favorites will win. And
maybe this is gonna be
because it's the opposite day, or
maybe now this is gonna be a blowout. One team.
That's gonna be a straight
hopefully
run.
the favorites,
Who knows?
We'll see.
This is our amazing analysis and predictions for this game, how it will go down.
It's a crazy day, so crazy analysis.
Let's start looking at this Enterprise team though, right? A lot of names in there that maybe are not so well known for it. Kassad, you just said maybe this is more towards the tier 3 level, 4?
I think that's kind of, you can classify them as a tier 3. They're playing the same events. They qualified from the, what do you call that? Oh, I forgot the Slovakian championship.
Okay.
Kind of thing, and they got there through that event, so which is pretty good, playing a land like this. And on the other side we have Wisla, who qualified to the International Cup, which makes them kind of a little bit stronger, a little bit favorite here.
Yeah, and also Wisla, also one of those kind of Polish teams that to me feel like they're really focused on the Polish market and kind of trying to find new.
Yeah, like you said, they're a soccer team in Poland. Maybe they
football team, soccer. Come on, I spent too much time over in the States, Kassad.
I did. Sorry.
God damn it.
Football. I know you're British.
Yeah, Wisla also has Lord as their coach. Is a player with a lot of pedigree.
The vet.
He played in your time.
He played back in the dinosaur ages of Counter-Strike when I was in my prime.
Yes, in your time.
15, 20 years ago.
I was there. I didn't play, but I was there.
Well, you were playing.
I was actually watching your games. I was watching your games, enjoying them.
Exactly.
Dinosaur.
Get on my level.
I just had to get wrecked by him instead. That was my enjoyment while you were just pushing the UK lads up to success.
Yeah, but anyway, for me, Wisla seems like more like a feeder team, where they're going to try to find. Of course, they want to be successful internationally. Of course, they want to be competing at the international tournaments. But just kind of the vibe that I'm getting out of them.
Yeah, they have more familiar, more famous names, I guess. Sparrow was one of the players who is a long time on the scene.
Sure.
He's in this team, and the other guys are just, brought into this team and they make a mix of experience and youth, I guess. And they've been doing all right. They're nothing crazy, but nothing too bad. They're just in the middle of the tier 3 pack, kind of.
Yeah, rank 50s-ish in the world, both teams.
It's pretty fair for them, I guess, at this point.
And then looking at Enterprise, like you said, qualified for Slovakian qualifier when it comes to it.
Honestly, didn't hear about this team till this event at all. It's a good thing for them that I didn't know about a single player of them.
I think that's just a good point to make here, actually, about this tournament. It's great for this region to get these teams from Slovakia, from the Czech, from Hungary, obviously. what have you, to get the opportunity to get the experience.
Yeah, Guardian is Slovakian, right?
Huh? Yeah.
Guardian is Slovakian. Yeah. Well,
I'm going to filter him back in, get his experience
Maybe,
bonded across
why
to help
not?
him out.
Maybe, why not?
Yeah.
Somewhere down the line, he can come back like similar to what Oscar did.
Yeah.
He came back in Sinners, not very good today, but overall,
yeah.
he came back into form and he's like super dangerous still.
Yeah.
Though he's like past his, someone would say, prime years.
Yeah. If you just look at the numbers, Forsey is the one that kind of is the player in that lineup that shines through in the numbers. Also an offer for the team, so should be he needs
Years
to be.
is just a number, right? That's what you want to say.
That's what I'm at. They look pretty young though for a team, right?
They could be my kids, yeah.
I wasn't saying that, but yeah, sure, mate. There you go.
Technically speaking,
How was your oldest?
14.
So yeah, could be playing now as well. Could we get out to that point? Yeah.
Yeah. It's not though.
Not the CS player, right? You
Nah, it's not into it.
said more RTS stuff.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Okay. So no money in that,
Yeah.
dead scene, not
Yeah,
Counter
just
Strike.
get an education instead.
You've not taught him the right way to go.
Classic dad. No video games, education only. No.
You're supposed to be better, right? Like at least with Harvey, I'm just sat there saying like, yeah, let's play it, let's go.
I know what kind of a
Yeah, but you're jaded from back in your days. Look now.
Yeah, but it's still not easy, is it? It's still a gauntlet. Yeah, but it's only like the top 0.5% that actually make money.
And it's in your DNA. It's in your genes.
Like half of him is like dad, and the other half is business. Like
Yeah.
45% is making money. Go to school. Did you do your homework?
I'm just trying to be reasonable.
We need to mention that it's a Father's Day in Finland.
Yeah. Happy Father's Day to you, Natu.
Thank you. Yeah.
You prefer to be here than with your kids? You want the relaxation instead, just like the holiday for it?
This is
He
my
would
holiday.
He will definitely enjoy the day more with his kids than looking at us.
This is my Father's Day gift, really, to be spending it with you guys.
Oh, there you go.
I feel blessed.
That was the spa day yesterday.
Oh, that's true, yeah. Truly
Good.
enjoyed it.
James Street. So.
There we go. So you're my dad as well, by the looks of it, Natu. That was it. That was my present to you.
Bloody
She's
hell.
got you one of them mugs, like the best father in the world.
Dad of the year.
Yeah, put that on there. Have a few of them going. Cassard, any kids coming?
Where are we going with this show now?
I think the game is starting.
Not even close, by the way.
It's a little bit boring. He's getting like a little bit too bored.
Yeah.
Cassard,
the teams on the stage.
Please,
we got to the last best award,
production, please, the teams.
No, he even just said, he goes, it's okay, we've got loads of time.
The thing is like, I don't want to go there actually. I don't want to go there.
This is going south real quick.
I think we've just leaked something here that Cassard actually has one on the way. He's just not telling us about it.
I'm still no comment.
He's just avoiding this completely. I will try and get us back on track with it, though. In all things being said of it, Krakow should be the winning team, so that probably means Enterprise is going to win. Then we've got all the best of threes for the elimination games. It's just going to be madness.
Yeah, it's going to be grueling, isn't it?
Definitely, like those two games that are going to be after this, the elimination games, it's going to be crazy, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Sinners
Nobody-
AGO
yeah,
one
yeah.
should be good.
Yeah, nobody expected Fiend to lose to Budapest
No way.
at all. So they're one of the kind of dark horses of the whole event. They always can go deep. They're in a rough spot now. Victory's not there. Ships is coming in. They lost this best of one. It's not looking good for them. But you can always come back from a match like this. So it's on them.
It's just whichever one's obviously in the favourites that losing that best of three as well, right? You've just come, you were supposed to do well, then you're down and out now straight away.
That's the thing with best of three is like it's way different, and the mentality is way different than a best of one. You can always have all those mistakes. You can put them all in one map. You can just forget about it. Like let's go to our pick, whatever, and just get back into it. All the luck that best of one, like an underdog team, can have, they can use it in that one game, and then you just get to play your own thing.
And it also affects players like risk taking. Thinking towards risk taking, because in a best of one situation you take one gamble and it might cost the whole map. In a best of three situation it's not as bad.
Well, let's get our first teams on and avoid Cassard having to leak any information about his future children. Maybe happening real soon. fast, we're going straight into the next intro, but I won't look onto that just yet, you know, we'll just keep things moving. I will say, the young boys knew how to stand, they all stood behind the chair correctly, you know.
You know, I was thinking like, I don't know, I already said it, I don't know a single player from this team, and this is the reason why I want them to win this game, you know.
That's it,
Let's get the
new
young
breed.
guys, like, you know, in the mix so they can get into the...
Maybe some talent you can look for.
Yeah, I mean, there's a perfect chance to it. If they win this game, they're going to be playing against Budapest 5 or the Hungarian mix. I keep calling them Budapest 5. The Hungarian mix, and then that's a real opportunity to go into the main event and get to play against Big or Gambit or Movistar Riders and Tropic, you know.
Yeah.
Let's see how it goes from, but let's bring on our next team. It's Wisla Kraków. Well, there we have it. The teams are ready. The last best of one is not too far away. And Natu, you mentioned one thing, right? The fact that the guys from Krakow do have Lord behind them. The experience is certainly there. They seem pretty hyped up and ready, you know, little clap and stuff before they're getting into it.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure, like, having the background and having a football club behind the team also, I'm sure, you know, at least trying to implement some of the philosophies from traditional sports and how to just be a team, to be frank.
I wonder, like, what kind of help are they getting from the football club?
Well done, thank you.
No worries.
I'm hoping they actually use the infrastructure behind there, because I'm sure, like, football has a long history. They know how everything works, you know, when it comes to sports psychology and just making sure players are at their prime at the right time and so forth.
The problems that we are having right now, they kind of overcome those problems 30 years ago, you know.
Yeah.
They're just nothing to them. So having like an organization like that behind you maybe can help you like grow a little bit faster than the other teams.
Yeah.
Now it's all up to the skill of the players and talent to just, you know, combine with that and try to do well.
Well,
Our first ancient of the tournament as well, you know. We'll take a bit of that, throw that into the mix. I know you weren't too big a fan of it.
I mean, like, for me, it's kind of pending. I'm still kind of pending on my opinion on the map, to be honest. It's still kind of, for me, in my mind, it's kind of fresh, and the verdict is out there. But so far, it hasn't been the most inspiring map, I guess, in the way that teams play. So
needs to be updated.
Rinse and repeat the same stuff.
But Vertigo took a while for us to get it into like a better position, right?
For sure. Yeah.
It needs to be updated.
Overpass too.
Yeah, oh god, yeah.
That map just needs to be done.
Overpass?
Just send it out forever.
Was that your Insta-ban?
Ship it to the moon.
Worst map ever. But yeah, interestingly enough, these two teams, they're playing all 7 maps. Like both of them playing all 7 maps. So getting into Ancient was quite interesting thing to see. But looks like they are both confident enough to play it in a best of 1, you know. So we might get to see some interesting things.
Well, let's see what happens. Let's get over to our commentators. Let's get into the final best of 1, and let's see if the upset will continue with Dweg and what's his name again?
Thank you very much, James, for remembering who I am. I will appreciate that when I call you Jamie a little bit later on today. Dweg, yes, Enterprise versus Wisla Kraków. I actually think this one has the one match that actually has potential to be an upset. And considering the circumstances of how we've played out today, I'm actually thinking we're on for a 4th upset here.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. I think Enterprise are actually a pretty decent team. They play some good Counter-Strike. They've got some players that, again, aren't really known at all. Forzy with the AWP, really impressive. He's going to be a guy to definitely keep an eye out for. Their in-game leader, Agis, as well. He's a decent fragger. And I've seen some good stuff from Mangus, too.
Absolutely, 100%. And the key thing about Enterprise is that as a team, they're punched well above their weight when it comes to their previous results.
True.
Deep runs in tournaments like Malta Vibes, the knockout series, that single elimination, massive bracket, which really a team like Enterprise should have no reason going into the top 16 in. They actually lost to some of the invitees of the Young Ninjas in that particular tournament, and also the Sasaki E-League. They went second place. They won Cool League, they won Y Games, and they won top 18 in Republic. They've done so many big things that you sort of look at and think that a team like Enterprise should have no right doing.
Again, you list off a lot of those events, they're pretty much all local. That's the difference factor that Enterprise have, is that against the local teams, against Entropic Prague and Asuba and Esselot and even Sinners from time to time, they put up a decent fight. We're now sort of looking at a different kettle of fish here. Even though when it comes to the rankings, there's not a lot between them, we've got 4 out of 5 players here from Wisla that have played at previous V4 LAN events.
Yeah, and I think for Wisla, their main thing is sort of trying to find their new breath of life. Obviously, in last year, they were an incredible side back when they had Hades on the roster.
Very true.
And that was a big sort of, that was a big sort of deal, losing him to the to Ents, obviously.
Yeah.
Seeing him sort of thrive obviously shows that he was one of the key players, and he was always the star of Wisla Kraków back when they had him. So trying to refine their formation has always been a bit of a challenge for them, but they've been able to hold on. They maintain their spot in Premier. They've gone deep in several like local tournaments, and in particular, recently they came second in IOC, and then they won the Polish Championship. So there's a lot in terms of what Wisla have been able to do this year.
No, for sure. I think them being able to get that conference spot probably means a lot to this team. Being able to really show up in the IOC is also something to be discussed, but right now, it's going to be the execution right down here towards the B site. Seeing the first couple of trades come back and forth, PHR and Jedka, it's all on them.
2 versus 2 scenario. Taps will continue to come out as they find their way onto their site. Try to go for the retakes and deny that bomb plant before it even goes down. Pistol gain by Wisla Kraków as they start things off on the right foot.
And for Wisla, this is going to be a new experience for them, because when we look at the LAN events, both Enterprise and Wisla have never played an international LAN, Jay. They have only played in their local scene, in the Polish scene, or when it comes to the Czechoslovakian scene as well. So that's going to be something to keep an eye out for, is pressure. What is it like for some of these teams? At least in the second round, can't be much pressure because, well, there's not a force buy.
Yeah, basics on the pistols out. Glocks involved for all. And nades involved for all. 4C's already been tagged pretty heavily here, so down and out for the time being. Set in with their positions being held on the elbow angle. Jedka has his eyes set to that position. We'll see them just burst his way onto a little bit of tag damage. No kills as of right now.
I like the way that they're getting the SMGs as aggressive as possible. You really want to try and see if you can farm this money up. I am slightly worried that if a 1-for-1 trade comes out from Goofy, that they can just run into B and get a bomb plant. That would be great for the T side.
Money here for Goofy. Frag 2 and 3. Oh, great to come out with that third frag. The last player to fall now will be Mangoose. And for lean into his position, Jedka able to lock it down. 2-0 at the start for this Kraków. Of course, Eco, as you mentioned before, no upgrade pistols, so they can get the full guns back out here for round 3. AKs will be involved.
And when you have a look at this Wisla side, a lot of roster changes when it comes to this year. Mino parted ways in January. They picked up Goofy. You mentioned Hades that has left the team to join Ents. They had to get Marcos as, I guess, a 1-for-1, right? If you lose an AWPer, you've got to get an AWPer. And then Ponchek as well. He was a guy that was there for a very long time. Left in August, and that's when PHR, that recently played from VP, came from.
Molotov set in with the AKs once again, pressing their way up to the default position for Enterprise. 4C mentioned him during the pre-game for good reason. He's a player to watch out for, and a player that could well be the difference maker for the Enterprise side. Spotting out one individual out to the right-hand side of the totem, but takes a lot more damage than he can dish out. So again, it's Wisla in with the advantage.
Now, how annoying was that to face? Goofy just strafing left and right in from the totem pole in the site, making it very difficult to get any kind of picks off. And he's still alive. He's getting chipped in. He's still working.
Tagged pretty heavily, but again, still H3 advantage for the CT side. An SMG that's dropped low versus 4C's AK. He's set towards that cave position, trying to see if we can find a way in as the smoke will clear up relatively soon here. The CTs will start to give chase down ramp and try and drive 4C away. The Deej have been tagged down at 10 points of health, so again, just damage being dished out by Wisla.
Yeah, it seems like they want to retake some of this cave control. 1-for-1 trade coming through from Marcos. And Forsey, got to wonder how he's going to start getting involved into this. And over-rotation. What is going on here? Where is the information come for them to start moving away from B?
I suspect that it's probably an A-site hit on the basis of the fact that they're down by a man. They haven't seen anything. Bomb plant will be tapped, and that should get the information back at the rotations. You have got Mangoose covering up the mid control. He could get flanked in by Sparrow. At the same time, he could also find his way onto the flank position and actually catch Sparrow with the back of the head. Jedka to take that next face, and he will get the trade. Meanwhile, Elive clears out Cave and now knows that they've got all sorts of control here on the B side. It's a full back lane commitment from the retake of Wisla. We've got Jedka that tries to lean in first on the left lane. Sorts of T-side players here. Elive takes flight. PHR will go down for it. Forsey swings, and Jedka will fall next, leaving it all to Marcos. The 1v3 scenarios. Enterprise will get their first round of the board with the guns coming out. They'll go hunting for the final kill as well, and it's easy pickings for them. First to the board again for Enterprise. And, well, it's not quite the pistol and conversions being won by these guys, but it's at least an early start.
Yeah, it is. And you just saw there over-rotate from Wisla. I love the way they were able to leave a lurk in from mid to catch off Sparrow and then just pull time away from those CTs, trying to get into those backlines at the B site, make it more comfortable. Even tried to fake the bomb plan out the first time rather than just get it down straight away, see if they can drive some fights in. Enterprise, you think about the economy game, definitely on top. Yeah, we're going to see an AWP out for Marcos. Everybody else, though, there's limitations for Wisla.
Molotovs in, nades out, Matty's position set at ease. Comes across the smoke, trying to evade any blind spray from Goofy. Won't receive any as of right now. He will know that the player's out there, though, as he tries to go for the wallbang blind flight sprays. Doesn't connect anything as of right now.
Enterprise have never played a best of one on HLTV, ever.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not kidding. They've played 116 maps, I think I saw, like, as an all career. Never a best of one.
Okay, well, that's fair enough. We'll see whether that has any impact on things in this matchup. There's a single map, and it could well have a positive impact. Again, we talked about the best of one upsets. So far today, there's been nothing but upsets. Let's see if this one will be one more to add to the tally. 55 seconds, and PHR has the AWP set and ready. Scout, I should say, takes that first shot. Second shot connects to the leg and does its damage to Matty, but the third shot does not connect. The fourth one comes up with the tag on Mangus. So there is damage being dished out, but nothing definitive against Enterprise. Finally, Jedka's going to force forward, and Matty's going to cover him off. Draws out the opening kill of the round.
That was such an easy bait. All they're doing is putting pressure on, re-smoke down, and they're just waiting for that overly aggressive fight. Sparrow falls, get out of there. Just save onto your weapons. There's no way this retake's coming in. And for Enterprise, there really wasn't much to it. Walk in that mid-control, take the donut access, continue to make sure players are keeping eyes out onto that backline position of Temple, and bait mistakes.
Yeah, 2 all to the board. Enterprise have found their way in. Find their way up at even. So, now, the boys over from the CT forces will at least get their one active frag of these. Will drop. I don't think anyone else is going to go hunting for this one. They have a little bit of a weird economy state from the T-side line, so Enterprise will just take the round with the upgrade weapons and the economy bolster. Meanwhile, Wisla probably don't I mean, they could force around these weapons. I don't know if it's going to be worth it, though.
Enterprise have been unlucky, I want to say, recently. They got that promotion from Advance into Premier. They got 2 wins against, it was both Apex and Sprout. Unfortunately, put them in relegation. And then who do they face in relegation? Movistar Riders 14th in the world, Copenhagen Flames 15th in the world.
Yeah.
So they have had some difficult draws. Again, this game today actually looks quite promising up against Wisla. A bit of pressure being applied out from mid with the utility, but it seems like it's just a run-up.
Straight into the B site. Nothing really about it. Sparrow, P250 just in case. Gets anybody else off guard, but not going to be any contact for him. He's going to evade the team sideline. The one can go down. The scout jump phase. It's been a long time since I've seen some jumping scouts, and they have actually managed to land a tag onto Mangus for it. 25 HP for the player, but he's not going to go down. I don't think he will at all.
No, you can't expect so. You'd have to imagine that there's going to be some level of exits coming in. Trying to hope if they can find a pick or two, recover one of these T-side weapons. Sparrow is pretty much a goner, though.
Yeah, should get overwhelmed here. Back turn. Turns back towards these at the right timing, but firepower just isn't there. Shot on, connects easy. Goofy just try and look for exits on the boost up, but nothing's going to come his way. Nothing's going to get spotted. Jedka will try lean forward and go for some sort of sneaky play on the bomb, but no kit means no defuse. Goofy will capture these. Matties turns around Jedka as he tries to sneak some sort of exit frag back in, but again, not to be.
No. And for Wisla, they have lost 3 rounds in a row. The money state is now looking promising, so they're able to get a buyback. Try and see if they can support up with Marcos. And I guess he's an interesting player. Started making a name for himself on Aves, had a stint on Illumina. He definitely isn't a Hades. He's still a very capable AWPer. And I guess when you do have a lineup, when you lose a star player, you can't think, damn, he's not the same. Because I don't think you can ever really get a 1-for-1 when it comes to a roster move.
Yeah, all you have is upgrades and downgrades, and
He's hit him hard there.
well, whichever one he is, you can decide for yourselves at home. I'm not going to say any other comments other than that. PHR comes up against these, and Live can trade it right back, so the AK is able to maintain control for Enterprise. Marcos continues looking in, and he will catch Matties, get ahead of this smoke, but not quite as ahead as he wants to be. So 4 versus 3. Sparrow, the Wisla Kraków side in general actually do have just the general control of the advantage. Sparrow will try to look for something above the boosted AWP, try to challenge the AWPer with the T-side line. Let's get forced off by a quick peek in. They're still going to regress it, actually. Not prioritize the bomb plant, which could cost them, or it could cost the CT side. 3v3 as Jedka's fallen. Sparrow finding in with trades alongside Goofy that drop E-Live and drop the bomb as well.
Yeah, Forzy, last one left. Sparrow being able to get a couple of kills. And that was quite ballsy for Marcos to aggress out from that donut position, find some impact. And again, something I brought up in the Fiend game is when I look at Fiend, Red Star and Horn, and Han, great double up setup. You have a look at Wisla, Marcos and Sparrow, they are really a 1-2 combo. And when they do start finding some form, when they do get involved into rounds and they're able to get streaks, pretty much those 2 guys can dictate a lot of pace of the game.
Good shooting from PHR to start off this kind of a round here for the Wisla Kraków side. Great basis to work from here for them now. 3 apiece. Enterprise not allowed to be enterprising. Attempting to get themselves under control. So far the start and the continuation has worked to the favour of Wisla at this stage. They've got nades up standards, AK's moving in, Matties trying to look towards the edge of that smoke but can't see anything of the CT side. They've gone back passive past cave, so again, no contact early.
Yeah, had a really decent angle. The only problem was Goofy just didn't overextend. Some wallbang shots going back and forth. Hoping to get a lucky shot, lucky timing. Try and see if they can go for the big exec again. They have left Mangus as just this late lurk and elbow pretty much every T round.
Incendiary's on, the AK set themselves up. Expect there to be some sort of contact faced, but so far so little is gained. Again, just that damage done to Jedka, and that's been about all she wrote. I should have come through here from the CTs, but Eli's going to catch Goofy off guard ahead of that smoke. Man down, opening frag is found.
Jedka's got to get flashed off angle, try and see if they can force him away. Only gets 1, tries to turn. Sparrow still on the side, looking to do damage. It's getting completely overwhelmed, and now comes down to the rotators.
Elive and Matties on the side. Should get the plant in. The rotation caught off by Matties. Marcos will drop for it in PHR with the AUG. Ahead of the smoke. Behind enemy lines. Try and push the issue and try and see if we can force out a duel against one of these 2 players, but they're both back towards cave. The bomb's planted for them. Incendiary out towards wood as well, just going to give away information without getting anything out for his own right. He might already be done with this round.
Yeah, it's not looking likely at all. They can either peek together or one peek and just waste the time. The bomb's plant for them. Really well played in that 2v1. They swing together. Make sure there's enough spacing that they don't just get 2 for 1 and just lined up straight away. Enterprise looking solid on T side.
Yeah, this is looking all right. And again, considering that Ancient is one of those maps that is very CT biased, you're looking at this one and sort of thinking about that Enterprise might already have good groundwork here to work.
And the odd aspect we're finding with Ancient is, yes, it is very CT-sided, but every now and then you do get a few events where it seems like the T side is just popping off, and I wonder if that comes down to the caliber of competition.
That might well be the case, but we can entertain that as time rolls on and as the matches continue to play themselves out. As of right now, it is the T side that are in the lead. Utility set and the Orps looking in for Marcos. Sparrows has got a scout set out towards the A site, so the better weapon is definitely over here towards B. Appropriate considering the B commitments that we've seen from Enterprise. They've been strong, they've been quick.
Ooh, look at the lurk. Mangus has been able to get behind them. If they're able to pull enough distraction, that could be a pick. They could bring the bomb back over to A. Instead, just get it planted and pull the distraction.
That's the other sniper falling. The scout out of Sparrow to 4 versus 4, and Marcos is currently kind of sandwiched. Teammates coming in from the back lanes, though. Goofy turns his deagle on towards Forsey and gets Matties as well. And just like that, one hand cannon has turned the situation right around at ease. Still hunting for a Treylac on PHR. The bomb's getting tapped. He's going to draw his attention away. Does find Goofy, does not get Marcos. Bomb tapped, and now we'll be stuck on this defuse. Mangus has not got wallbang potential here with the Mac 10. He knows it. Going to make some noise, try and force Jedka off, but Marcos has him locked. Triple up for him. What a hold of the B site.
He could have tried the spam. It probably would have been difficult with a Mac 10. He would have needed quite a lot of bullets to the head. That whole round, though, just falls apart so quickly. It looks as if, okay, B exec, a lot of util. They've got that backstab in from Candles. This looks pretty easy. And then Goofy, hello, where'd he come from?
Out of nowhere, it seems.
Yeah, so did his Deagle.
Right to the heads. Neck and domes.
Were they surprised by Enterprise?
Clearly not, because they dealt with them, so, you know. Still plenty of time to be surprised, though. Still a map to play out.
Oh, hello.
Sparrow has burned the D's off, so that's surprising. Getting caught in the midst of that Molotov, I guess trying to avoid any SMG damage, but then again, there's no SMGs in play. And cannons, again, half bought. More of a decoy round, actually. There's no Kevlar or any utility here, so let's see what damage they can do. But again, a round that should go the way of Wisla.
Yeah, good to see those incendiaries land, because I'm sure in the IOC, when I did see some Wisla, there was quite a few missed nades out to that lane position from the CT perspective, so it seems like they have cleaned up their act. And cleaning up this eco, this is just not even really a fight. Mangus hoping for one pick, the bomb being dropped. This round's pretty much done.
Grab that bomb. Hold on to it for the CT sides. Mangus, yeah, one frag. That was the AK, though, so at least it's a pretty impactful one, because it takes away some of that firepower for the CT forces. Yeah. Of course, they will have the AUG brought right back in. Marcos will get passed off the AWP this time. All the guns come in for Enterprise.
All right, well, you'd have to imagine, too, mid-control we haven't seen a lot of from Enterprise these last few rounds. Haven't seen much out to A in the last, 5 in a row or so. We saw a couple of walks in previously, not for a while, though. And Wisla trying to put a lot of anti-rash nades down towards their elbow position. Forzy's going to take some early damage.
Matty's forcing forward ahead, the AK. Setting over at Cheetah. Expecting there to be some sort of force forward from the CT forces. That's not quite happened. They're happy to hold their line in mid and on the sites themselves. Wait for Enterprise to make the mistakes once again. Nades will try and prod out something here towards the ramp control and the B doors, but so far so little has really been seen. Again, they're very ill-equipped in terms of giving up information or giving up the opening kills. The nades are still dishing out some damage, though. I think there was a stack in towards the mid control. Mangus is credited with the kill on Goofy.
Often whenever there's a slight gather of information, just nade stack straight away on Ancient when you're out in mid. Easy kill, force him with a molly or even just a HE placement. And now with that mid pick, it opens up the opportunity of trying to split into A. They've got a single donut player of PHR. Probably needs a multi-frag from here.
Oof, we'll see, almost saw that man, but not to be. Marcos will catch him off instead. AUG. Matty doesn't check the corner. Neither does he. Oh, this is 3 players. Oh no, he's whipped it again. This time with the rifle. Matty's comes up against Marcos and all. Sparrow's fallen. It's all fallen apart.
Oh, no. Oh, it looked like it was going to be absolute magic, and instead Jedka's got to be the one to clutch. Well, maybe don't talk to PHR after this game, I reckon.
No, let's not do that.
Yikes. We don't like to see that. I like the patience, right? He's letting them pass. Enterprise don't check. Maybe they should have checked. Maybe you got a 1-for-1 if they checked.
Maybe.
Always maybes.
I mean, listen, in 99% of the cases, that's trigger discipline that works to your favour. And I think actually Mangus did have an inkling, so he turned a little... Oh, he's not happy about that.
No. That's a great camera angle, that one.
Credit, because it shows exactly how players react to those circumstances. And he's got every reason to be a bit miffed at that one. Mangus has got to be miffed about that one as well. Jedka comes up with the M4 kill straight through the smoke to his head. He's down and out.
I love a bit of spam. Opening man advantage, looking for even more, getting close to the legs of Matty. Gotta be careful that he doesn't just get pushed in by this smoke. A couple of players in the bomb could get dropped by the Eli.
He's sat here waiting. If him and Matty's just going to wait for a peek to come forward to the CT forces. Jedka might give it up. Eli gets that on Goofy. Jedka responds. There's a second player out there. Eli can deal with him, but Marcos has found a trade in the interim, so still Wisla maintain the advantage. 3-on-2.
Marcos has been very consistent towards the A side. The only problem is there's not much presence towards A on a consistent level. PHR in from this donut position doesn't win the fight. It gets back to a 2v2 and Spiro's got lane control.
Set in with the AWP watching. Expecting to be someone coming up in the boxes, but the rotations will be found by Enterprise. Right back out towards the T-spawn. And towards the B ramp entrance, they've regained the even standing, so the only thing that separates them and the Vista boys is the HP advantage that they have above E-Live. Sparrow's still set with the AWP on the B side, so he's going to be the central point of defensive. We hear those footsteps, take that shot, but missing it out. E-Live punishes.
Yeah, as soon as you miss a shot and you're out in the open, there's no way you can fall back to safety, and I don't even know if Marcos goes to this. The money's wrecked.
Probably not. Honestly, I don't think he does. This is a bad idea. Keep the M4 back in. He's still going to peek ahead of Cave. Yeah, the scope in on the site itself, so he might be drawn into a full sense of security, thinking he's safe, but no. E-Live just gets that shot in immediately. Low HP and still coming up with a brilliant play. It's a 6th to the board of Enterprise.
Yeah, it's not like Visa on double eco status. They can hard eco in round 12 and go into round 13, so maybe because of that, they're thinking, well, we're not going to force buy next round anyway. I might as well back myself in the 1v2, try and see if I can come up and get a clutch. It does force Enterprise back into the lead and start grinding even more rounds up on their T side. You've got to imagine Mangus is going to be quite happy with a round like this. Eco pistols.
Yep.
Mac 10 loves that.
Rip straight through them all. As soon as he sees the first player, just open fire and let Jesus take the wheel.
Or
Didn't even, that could happen, yeah. Jesus took the wheel a little bit too early. The USP also back in towards Wood. Goofy's done quite an amount of damage taking down a player in Matty, so it's a 2-for-1 trade with damage onto Adiz as well. This is workable for Wisla.
Spirit's got to get a pick in quickly. The E-Live down here towards this ramp position. Seen at least one more. Doesn't know about PH. Oh, struggling with the AK. How is he still alive here?
Fords there to bail him out. That's part of the reason. 2v2. He peeks back in towards Cave. Marcos now seen. The AWP now bearing down upon him. Knows that he's got the scenario pretty much unlocked. Back lane covered off by the back 10. Fords is going to pick him up. And it's all left to Marcos. Get away with an exit frag. If we can get E-Live, that'd be fantastic. He's on 3 HP, so it'd be easy for the USP to find him. Nope, Forzy turns the AWP into his head. Triple up for the player, and Enterprise have 7 to the T-board.
It looked promising for a moment there. Opening man advantage, then turns into somehow the Wood player being able to get a USP kill. So it seemed as if there was going to be more in that round. Doesn't quite happen. It does seem as if it's been relatively back and forth, though. The longest streak of rounds we've had was Enterprise's 3 from 3 to 5, and then 3 from 10 to now.
M4s out on the full buy here for Vista Kraków. Smokes up, flashes over. Jedka's going to catch none of this. He's just going to blind fire as he gets counter smoked back towards the Candle's entrance. His burst fire comes in. Blind as a bat, still connecting nothing to Enterprise, and all the CTs will just sit back and wait. Adij was tagged up, however.
Not a lot of information has been given up in round 13 from Enterprise. It's been relatively silent from them. They've been walking with a lot of this mid-control. You've got to start thinking to yourself, when are we going to get an info play from someone from Wisla, an over-aggressive move? I guess you've got Spiro that's sitting out here in Cheetah. He hasn't heard or seen anything.
Rifles inbounds. Warp still looking in to Donut in case anybody's out there. E-Live is set towards the main entrance, so this looks to be the setup for a split play on A. They might hear this over at Cheetah. They're just seeing the Molotovs or hearing the Molotovs getting thrown out towards mid-control. No one's really watching mid here for the CTs, though. Imagine that someone's going to rotate towards it relatively soon as Enterprise there, bound for the A site.
Now, this quick backstab has missed its opportunity now, and it's going to fall down to PHR. Can they try and bait the distraction onto Jedka and get him in for some?
Looking out, Jedka trying to protect his teammate. Engagement, PHR just win that first fight. E-Live could get caught off, and it's a 2-man spray down. Mangus can find a responsive, so 3-on-2. Again, Wisla have the advantage, and they're coming in for middle as well. The AWP of Forsey shuts down Goofy, and now they look towards the back of the temple area. Got Marcos challenging onto position, going to try to draw them out, allow the main player to wrap back in, tap and burst for Sparrow. Mangus will fall for it, and it's Forsey in a 1 versus 2. Big player for a big play. 2K to his name. Where's the last? Sparrow close to flicks, not good enough, as Vista will make 6.
Ah, nice try. I'll give him that much. That was a decent attempt. He's isolating the 1v1s really well. Just not getting enough support, and even for Jedka that's playing there up on that A site when he's trying to bait between him and PHR, the fact that he's able to get a spray transfer, get a couple of kills on those players running out from Donut really sets the rotators, really, of Marcos and of Spiro into that round. And for Vista Kraków, that's a much-needed clutch.
100%. 100%. really solid round for them, and one that might set things up for now. The money bonus should be there to enable a buyback for Enterprise. We'll see what the buy looks like in a short few seconds' time. Yeah, we will see AKs. 1 Galil for Matty, so it's not 100% great. It's still got a lack of an AWP, and they've got that downgrade weapon for it. The smoke's in, and the flashbang's over. Collateral tag comes in. Marcos unable to get those frags, but Goofy's HE can get 2 for 1, so kind of a technical collateral. Matty's Jedka comes back and forth, 3 versus 2. CTs hold their own together, and again maintain the advantage after the initial chaos.
And that's always the risk factor when you run a quick B ramp XE on Ancient, is you can just get hammered by the utility. Knowing that tag shot came in, all it came down to was good HE placement, and Goofy's rewarded.
Jedka was tagged up in that particular exchange, so it is a bit of an awkward stance for him to take. Back over towards that B site with the backup of Goofy. PHR is the lone defender of the A site, and he's pushed up towards main, so Enterprise might not be ready for this. They won't be aware of him until he starts peeking forward, but Eli has a suspicion, so he's going to wrap all the way around, check the top boost plat, and the initial entrance towards main. Will he check all the way? Yes, he will. PHR is going to get caught off for this. Oh, no, the spray! Oh, God, guys! Now it's Mangus in a 1 versus 3. He gets that one engagement at least, and now looks for a little bit more. Goofy up close and personal with the AWP. Mangus will get flashed away from. He's still going to find these 2 individuals. They're going to come from the same angles. Can't win that second fight, though, so Goofy just maintains the round. Oh,
Payback.
Eli. Yeah, it kind of is, isn't it?
It really is, because PHR was the one that whiffed in Donut. Now he's got the revenge factor.
I kind of do feel bad for him, though, Eli.
PHR's like, get in, that's
It's
one back.
Here's the thing. The difference between that one is that PHR was in a 1 versus 3 scenario, essentially. Like, he was trying to find 3
just
kills.
one player,
and
yeah.
just one player checked it. Whereas Eli was point blank, seen him, and his spray was
Oh,
too far off to the left. We'll get to see a little bit more. The double dunk nade, of course, landed perfectly through these.
Oh.
You saw it. It was too far left, right?
It happens. Move on. 7-7. Now we've got to find out, Jay, who's going to be able to take the lead going into the next half.
7 up for the winner of this round, and it looks to be the CT forces that wanted the most. Sparrow forces forward, find at ease. Eli can trade it back, redeem himself from that last round, make sure they do not maintain the control. They do not mow down 3 players in one play.
One of the first times we've seen aggression out to lane from the CT side, and it doesn't really pay off. Yeah, you get a 1-for-1. Probably wanted to try and catch them off guard. It doesn't quite happen. It does try and force the T's away out of that lane position, perhaps back in towards an elbow take into mid. You'd have to imagine Jedka's probably going to be the first point of call, just jiggling here from Candles.
Walks forward, Eli first man. Matthews might take that mantle. The bomb, of course, on the back of that first player. And that jump face is going to get a ton of information for Jedka. So he now knows that they're walking up towards mid. The question is, will they play towards A? Will they split towards B? The donut angle is going to see where Mangus is, and that's going to be most of the setup being taken away from the T side for a start, but also the information given up to where they're going to go with this. Jedka now confirms it by seeing all 3. Still PHR's alone on the site and also tagged up very heavily, so being out in the open means that Max is getting a kill, but Goofy starts fast on the rotation, trades it back, sees the second man, drops him the same, looks in for Matty's, and Matty's AK into a 1 versus 1. Another player coming in from Donut. That's the AWP this time of Marcos, hoping that he extends back out to the open bomb site. The bomb does get picked up. And Matty's considering the B side.
Oh, I like it. He has no information, really, of where Marcos is, so he's going to think, yeah, he's on rotation, I'm going to be able to sneak back in. Now, he can plant as open as he likes. He can go cave, he can go back lanes, he can go ramp. I love this bomb plant position.
Yeah, here we go. Marcos will be on the way. The AK will post itself up and expect the correct rotation as well. Mattis has read this like a book. Or has he? He's starting to second guess himself and keep his eyes on the site at the same time. Now the engagement's seen. He knows exactly where the last man's coming from. He'll reposition to the site itself. There, the footsteps of Marcos charging straight up. Nice pulled out. Almost mistimed a couple of positions. There's smoke and a kit for Marcos. He could go for the ninja. That's what he's going to attempt for right here. Look on towards that long entrance. Tap it once. Out of the gates. Oh, that tap's beautiful. Matties peeks ahead, gets him removed from play, and gets the 8th round to secure the half for his side.
A nice little clap at the end there as well. The lead being gained, and hey, that's a round that really needed to come through as a rotation purpose. Okay, not really sure. Mark was probably the mid player. He's coming in donut. Could even be backstabbing me in A main. Let's go with what I know. I'm going to start walking forward, create the space. And I like the way that he slowed it down too. Even when that bomb got tapped, he didn't just run forward or start spamming through that smoke. He walked. He takes it patiently, wins out the one tap.
Easy pickings. For Wisla, it's once again the favourites being down at the turn of the half.
Yeah.
Again, I'm starting to think about the upset potential here in this one. And
I think we have to be clear, though, that the upset or the favourite in this match is nowhere near as clear as it was for the previous 3 BO1s.
100%. Like, the thing about those last few matches is that they should have been write-offs. Like, the first 3 best of ones should have been going the way of their respective favourites. This one was a little bit more contentious on the basis of the fact that, again, Enterprise are punching above their weight, and Wisla, well, they're doing great, and they're definitely worthy of being called favourites in this series. But I think the difference between the two teams is probably overstated by most.
I don't even think it's Enterprise sort of pushing above their weight. I think that they're actually really starting to find some form. And we do find every now and then there's a team that maybe we're not so familiar with that gets involved into a couple of these competitions. And all it takes is really just one good performance. And there you go. Bang. You're invited into this cup and this cup and this cup. And then you start moving up the rankings. And for Enterprise, I think they started making a name for themselves in the Premier season, even though they weren't able to win a lot of games. You actually look at those best of threes, they were very competitive.
That they were. And again, it's all reason why they're here and now. We'll tech pause before we get into the matchup. I think it's the Wisla side that took this one.
And when I think about players that have come out of the Czech Republic and Slovakian scene at the highest level, you've got Frozen on Mouse Sports. Got Oscar. Okay, maybe he's playing on Sinners now, but he was a tier 1 player. You've got like Sticko too. Other than that, I don't think there's really many. It's a very small region with competitiveness at the highest level.
Yeah, and as a result, like a full-on team in that sort of region isn't necessarily going to be a...
Well, maybe that's the direction you have to go. Like, rather than breaking out of the scene, you break with the scene. Do you know what I mean? Like, rather than say, oh, I'm going to go to an international lineup and I'm going to go and try and go that way. If you can bring a team up, I mean, look what Sinners have been able to do the last year.
I mean... Yeah, but if that was the case, then the UK scene would have had a decent team right now, because we've had so many great...
Fnatic!
Yeah, Fnatic are the first ones that have a chance, but anyway. Besides the point for that, Mangus has found himself a great play out of the donut position. Doesn't need his scene. Needs himself. Eli, same thing. PHR court. Sparrow 1 versus 5. P250 in hand. This is a shutdown round, as Enterprise will have the pistol.
Mangus just not even being challenged really in that donut position. That looks so simple for him. They can swing out, not a single player falling. That is a round full of confidence. They would really hype the boys up. We know that for Enterprise, they've already shown a fair bit of emotion when it comes to some of the player cams. And that one right there, it just felt as if Mangus got fed those kills, and he wasn't missing. He was hitting all of them.
Nah, he was rock solid. That was like one of the most perfect USP 3Ks I think I've ever seen. Watch it again. Taps on the first, and then second and third.
Yeah. I mean, they're close to lining up, right? Like, there's not much. When you think about the horizontal axis, he's not going left or right. They're very close quarters between one another.
Either way, it's going to be a round for the boys.
Thoughts on the force buy? No bomb plant.
Yeah, no bomb plant. I mean, it still could work out for them, as we're about to see them rush in towards that B site. Burst fire. Forzy gets caught off by the wall, though, so Goofy can get the kill. Matty's got to hold on. The SMG of E-Live baits in Jedka with the prospect of a rifle, and it is back behind the wall. Back position at Cave will find Goofy next. So 4 versus 2 being gained, and well, they do stick a bomb plant in, but with the force buy being a force buy, it doesn't mean that they can afford the next round. Now Marcos is no. They stick the defuse at this stage. They'll just try and force him out here. He'll grab an SMG, but that won't be much being lost here to the CT forces, so they'll just hold out the rounds, get the kill in the end, and find their 10th.
Mate, you say there's no money. I reckon they buy again there. You get 2 kills and a bomb plant with your loss bonus kicking in. You can get those Galils out. You can go a couple of hero AKs and really try and get something out of it. And hey, there we go.
Yep. Guns back in for them. Rifles aplenty for the T side and CT sides. They're rocking the M4s for the most part here. So there's a slightly better buy over for the Enterprise camp. To see those guys try and press forward and continue to hold their lead in this one. Masters on 2 others. Nays that do a ton of damage. Look at the HP for Jedka and PHR, but Sparrow opens up with a kill.
Just pace out from lane, beats them into the duel onto Maddies. They are going to have quite a heavy rotation, bringing 3 players in total over towards that B side, and just leaving Mangus to hold Donut by himself.
And these with E-Live looking to push up towards ramp control. They've got 1 individual back behind the B doors. Flash ahead of the game. Galil bursting through. Can't catch these guys. They'll dish out some damage. Sparrow picks up the second kill onto Adiz as he catches those players getting aggressive and Now, then men in ramp and cave. Eli will make it a second player in cave as Goofy will drop back the trade. Something being gained now for the CTs.
You'd have to imagine for Enterprise, they need some playmakers here. They're light on util. They don't really have a lot going for them. Gamble stack, start rotating players over, and it seems like that is going to be the play. Rotate over towards mid. Unfortunately, Leaf B, might as well just save onto your rifles from here.
Yeah, see if they can walk the way into the B site and receive no resistance, of course. So this will be a bomb plant and a round for Wisla. Make up one of 3 rounds that they need to equalize against this Enterprise camp. Yeah, simple stuff being held together. Save call, of course. They did lose the FAMASas in that one, so they haven't lost anything of major value, but might want to think about the economy stakes. I don't know if there's necessarily a bar on the table for these plays.
It doesn't matter if there is or there isn't, Jay. I think you've got 3 weapons, and you have to buy in that sort of scenario. If it was maybe just Mangus and the Eli holding on to weapons, maybe we could be like, all right, there isn't. Mattis has still got money, so he'll buy himself. Mangus is able to drop, a FAMAS over to his teammate. Depending if he's got M4A1S attached, he'll be able to drop that over as well. Sometimes that less $200 makes a big difference.
Yeah?
Not many people use A4 anymore, a couple.
Yeah, but it was because the A1S got the buffs, didn't they?
God. Yeah.
Yeah. New popular M4, which I'm happy is an M4A1S.
They got some nice skins, yeah.
Yeah.
Literally all the A1S skins haven't been used for ages.
I was still rocking my Hyper Beast. I never gave up on the M4A1S. So. Don't give up on this Kraków at this stage. They found an all-important round and an all-important kill. Eli down. So much damage was done to Goofy and Jedka. And Force is going to catch Goofy off guard, going a bit too aggressive for the T's.
I guess because they feel as if they got that opening man advantage in from mid, that they're just going to keep walking with it, and they weren't expecting another player to be there. And PHR just waiting for some over-aggression out from ramp. And actually, we're seeing the CTs go back to a double candle setup. They did this in the last round.
Well, rotates back from the CT forces and join that B site defensive, which is where Wisla are going to act towards. The flash is going over, the nades up. Jedka will catch Matty, so advantage gain now for the Polish squad. He's trying to hold on to some sort of trades, but Jedka maintains it. Almost catches a quadra in this one. Blind spray on towards Force. He's going to run for it. Mangus also pressing up the issue. The M4 continues its firefight. These 2 CT players will be able to get away, save the guns.
Jedka even thinking about more, and honestly, why not? Their money's in a pretty decent position. They've been able to clear out the backlines. You know that damage is going to be done to the economy, so don't completely overextend, but still have a somewhat hunt to see if you can drop another weapon.
Lean in. Try and look for those exits. Try and look for those picks, but so far so little. Looks like they'll be able to escape mostly with their lives. 9th round to the board of Wisla. Catch up to Enterprise once again. They found a few that will make up the difference. With the economy still being wrecked here, I feel like they might be able to get a free one out.
Yeah, I can't really see a force spot here.
Yeah.
This is a state now where it doesn't look good. So a couple of rounds in a row going the way of Wisla on the T side. Jedka and Goofy putting on some good performances. And Jedka was a bloke that sort of made his name on XCOM AGO and then moved his way over here. Actually, it might have been before they were XCOM AGO, when they were just XCOM before the merge came in.
Same team, basically, so,
Well, yeah, it is, but it isn't.
Either way. Go out for these 3 players that did go down for Enterprise. So 2 M4s in for Forsey and Magnus. In terms of dishing out some damage and taking some damage frags. Move economy from the play of the Wisla Kraków plate. Marcos move ahead of the curve. Will get caught off by Mangus. So there's 1 and 2 kills, but Goofy's there with the trades. Jedka Forsey going back and forth, and actually they're not doing a too bad job at making this an expensive round. 1v2 now for Ediz, and he's tapped up Goofy back from the back lines, a 1-on-1. And if this USP clutches the round, I would be sorely impressed.
Well, he's got options here. He can go into Donut if he really fancies himself. He can go all the way elbow and have a massive backstab, and I think that's what he's going to be doing.
All the way around. From main. PHR has not a clue. He's smoking off, still thinking he might be coming in from Temple. and he's planting open for main as well. This is perfect, absolutely perfect for these. Backs a turn, the player spotted, he's prematurely shot it though, and if he held himself a bit more confidently, a bit more patiently, he would have had a better angle. He might have even been able to grab that AK that was at his feet and turn even the frag, but not to be. 10 apiece, Wisla have equalised.
I think just too quick to the trigger there.
Yeah.
Slow it down. I mean, you probably don't want to pick the AK up in that situation because as soon as you pick it up, they're going to hear it. So he might back himself further with the USP, but pressure, probably getting there in the 1v1, just trying to get the kill over and done with. Doesn't quite happen. PHR, he's been in a few situations like that over the course of the day.
Making it work out for his team for now. 10 apiece. Wisla and Enterprise. Still going blow for blow, but that was an eco round for Enterprise. So seeing the damage that they did is pretty respectable, and the economical impact it will have in the next round, if they can win this one, is pretty staunch. They're on a single round loss bonus, so there wouldn't be a buyback for the Polish squad. Leaning towards that A side once again. Very heavy stack out towards B for the majority of the CTs. eLive will have Mangus on the site to defend themselves. The engagement against the first player of Goofy goes well.
I'm surprised how passive Enterprise are playing this on AJ because they don't have a kit at all. They don't want to retake here.
4 of eLive still waiting for more players to face around the corner, try and catch overextenders like PHR. Did get blind off by that flashbang. Forcey turns the AWP in towards Marcos. These and eLive have the crossfire locked in, expecting there to be more aggression from the T side. They're not going to give it up to him. 5 versus 3. Bombers committed to the side. Got to go down relatively soon. They're going to backstab in from mid for Sparrow. Might try force out the player over at the donut angle and give them a bit more breathing room. eLive and Mangus, however, get 2 more frags together to deal with that mid load, to deal with the player out towards the site itself, leaving Jedka alone with a bomb on his back and a dead name to his name. 11 to the board of Enterprise.
And it just seemed like it caught Wisla off guard. I know that A on Ancient CT side is difficult to hold. Normally you see players in the big box or in that temple position, they take a frag or they take contact and fall back. That time there, they just didn't even do that. They had someone really deep in CT spawn. They had a donut angle too. It just felt as if rather than wanting a contact and taking trades, they just decided we want to play it super passive.
Wisla taking the tactical portals here.
Have a chat with Lord.
Yep. Mention on the desk how the veteran is coaching this team and trying to bring some LAN experience to the Wisla side. In general, for this squad, a lot of players are not very well versed in international LAN experience.
Probably other than Spiro, right? Because he played at, what, 2 majors?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's about it, though.
Yeah, he's the only one. All the veteran guys are pretty much gone from this team. Very similar stance with AGO, too.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just how it is in the Polish scene, bringing the new generation forward.
Oh. Well, the old generation are left, so I guess that's pretty much a given. Guns back in once again. Jedka's already fallen. eLive has picked him up with a Molotov kill. Not sure if there was any bullet spam assistance in that front, but either way, he's a dead man. So that's a start out again for Enterprise, removing the 1 mid player from play, and now all the rest of the players out towards B from lane and from ramp, and they're walking up towards ramp as well. At ease, got to put the smoke out to protect himself over at wood, evade the wall bangs if at all possible. PHR gets tagged up at AWP, Forcey can't hold on. eLive and Adiz have the crossfire locked as Goofy and PHR will fall and leave Sparrow and Marcos, the last 2 players left. Now 1 more man standing. Sparrow's blind as the bat. It's 12 to the board of Enterprise. They're going to pull this off.
That was a great start to the round by putting those nades down to elbow. What actually impressed me the most is the individual at wood finding so much impact. First of all, they've seen him. They molly him. He's smoke. He's able to pull the distraction, and it just buys time for the rotations.
Enterprise locking down the site. And again, so well placed to pick up that first frag towards mid, remove that individual, and then just leave it all towards that B hit. That was all the options Enterprise had by removing that 1 player. And from some options to only 1 option to no options here in round 23. Hard eco coming in from the boys.
This is a grand position for Enterprise. Tries to put the smoke down onto the molly. Not quite all of it. So he still takes some damage and thinks, you know what? Getting aggressive for eco frags when I'm low HP, probably not worth it.
He does still try for the wallbang spam.
Goofing around?
Yeah. Goofing around on Goofy. Fortunately, he can't respond. He hasn't got a very good pistol in his hand, so I mean, he could try firing at the wood for limited effect, but just respond with straight spam on the AKs and the M4s. There's 3 AKs in play as well for the CT side. They've got a lot of firepower here, Enterprise.
Yeah, the eLive might get pressure on. Honestly, though, shouldn't be able to get full in it very easily. Getting into this counter position, he's just relaying all this information over, not even struggling.
See you, boys. 3 kills on the trot for the CTs. Mangus, let's get caught off a little bit, but the transfer to spray so good. Those 2 players will fall. 13 to the board of Enterprise now. Wisla stalled at 10, 3 in a row for the opposing force. Guns back out in full amounts here for the Wisla camp. They've got to try and win this next round, else that could be a down on match point.
Yeah, you mentioned how Wisla came through the IOC, getting all the way to the grand final, Jay. Enterprise didn't even make it out of the closed qualifier of the IOC in the Czechoslovakian region. They came 4th there when they needed to come first. So they had to come through an online league instead.
So what's that, like a 3rd lifeline for Enterprise at this stage?
We'll give them a few.
Yeah. Trying to get as much as they can out of this one, and for all the teams that do have 2nd and 3rd lifelines, they are trying to play to their to prove something, if you will, in this tournament. 13-10. Enterprise could prove something massive by taking down Wisla Kraków right here. They've got damage being done to Sparrow and Goofy very early. Might even look to get the kill onto Sparrow. You can see that Matties is thinking about that wall bang. He's looking above the wood spam. Can't see the T-side player though.
In case there was a boost up, I know the T's don't mind doing that, get some verticality, see if they can catch him off. And Spiro looking like he wants to take this cheater position relatively dry. They've got 1 molly to try and force Matties away and clear out it.
Smoke in his hands in case he wants to extinguish that. The nade will tag in the 52. Flashbang forward, completely missed out. Didn't even land that deep. Goofy catches Matties for it, and the D's set ahead of the position. AWP peek for Forsey, catches the frag, and the AK's waiting for Goofy to extend even further out of this here. Utility in his hand to smoke out, AK to swing, and gets picked up for it. Enterprise now lead by a man.
What a crouch peek in from Forsey to be able to get something back, and then even the teammate assisting in PHR. That's not the lineup.
That's the kill for Marcos, though. All important shot. Looking for a 2nd player out of here. PHR can trade his teammate and maintain a 2 versus 2, but not for long. There's Eli on the site, burying PHR, and Jedka will try and press forward. 15 seconds. Backstab inbound to the back of lane. Mangus coming in from window. Eli is seen as man. He knows that he's running out of time. Knows that he's got to force out the bomb plant, so he'll just wait for it. Safe behind the totem. Mangus could also go for the wallbang spam, which is what he'll do. Find that pick and not even give them a bomb plant.
That was really well played by the Eli. And notice too, they've got so much money. He picked up the AWP for a moment and then dropped it straight away. Because you've got so much money, you might as well hold on to the double AKs instead.
Enterprise in a fantastic position right now. They could well find themselves at match point at least here. A tactical pause is called in by Wisla.
Do they force?
That is probably the big question that they're asking here right now.
Yeah, it's one of those where you don't have a lot of money, you didn't get a bomb plan in that last round. Do you think to yourself, all right, let's give ourselves some safety. Let's buy it up. We win the round, we're back in the game. Or do you take the safer approach? Go for the eco pistol, say, right, we'll play for our team.
Just guarantee yourself to get the guns out.
Yes.
I think it's forced, though. I think it's a forced buy. You've seen the Tech 9s and Deagles coming in. Marcos is down to $700.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. More of a half buy, really, actually.
Well, max round loss bonus, yeah. So they'll give themselves a good buy into the next. They need to do damage on a round like this, though.
Yeah, take some weapons away, especially those AKs for Eli and Mangus. Nades on, though, again. The utility placement for Enterprise has been fantastic, and Wisla just suffering for it time and time again. I'd love to get a how much utility damage has been done by the individuals. By comparison, Enterprise now ready to receive. The T is coming in towards the B site here. Indeed, has fallen first, but Matters in Eli there with a couple of decent trades. Sparrow gets caught off. Jedka at least puts his deagle to decent effect, but only 2 kills against the CT line. Marcos now known entity will take fight. Matties will shut him down with a triple. Match point for Enterprise. We are on the precipice of 4 upsets in a row in our best of 1 contests. Wisla. They have got to buy back at least the AKs. Marcos will be struggling to justify one, but it is going to be gun v gun.
One of the main criticisms I would have for Wisla in this second half on T-side, Jay, is there has been so many cases where they've gone for the B-side execution, they've got into the back lines, and they've had utility drawn, or they're looking for a weapon, and they're not getting their rifle out or whatever pistol they've got in front of them to take the further fight, to beat those rotations. Enterprise putting up at least a fight in from the spam, in from the candles position. PHR, he's getting pressed in from A-main.
Press the issue of his own accord. He knows that Mangus is out there, put the nade to his position, dish out some damage. It's Eli that takes the majority of the early damage for the CT forces, though, so taps up for the M4s. The Smoke suppression will keep vision at bay. Neither side can see anything at this stage. Minute and 15 to play.
Sparrow just waiting for a jiggle pig, a slight overextension. 2 players in from Cheetah and PHR. He actually goes down. He's the lurk towards the A side.
Sparrow with a pick back onto Matty, so it'll be a 4 versus 4. Sparrow is extremely low, so he's almost dead, but he's in play for the time being. Team's going to stack themselves up towards Cheetah and Lane. Try to look for what seems to be the B split.
It seems as if they've got a decent read on the situation. The AWP's playing out from B, from Forzy in towards those backlines. Needs to get some help from Addies at Wood.
Goofy is known, flashes forward at D's. Himself suppressed, Molotov start coming in, further utility thrown over, Jetka caught, Goofy with a responsive, 3-on-3 still, AWP to lean forward, catch Marcos, see Goofy as well, Forzy up with a double and a triple to close down the map, 16-10 for Enterprise. We go 4 for 4 in upsets in the group stage.
That was a fantastic first half and second half for Enterprise. Again, we typically talk about how CT-sided Ancient could be. It felt as if for Enterprise they were consistent on the first and the second half.
100%. And when you've got a good T-side inbounder like that, then you've got a really great basis and a good groundwork to build from. That's what Enterprise ultimately were able to win with. Their CT side was great, we expected it to be so. But having that T side half involved, that's a massive, massive win for them. And again, beating out Vista to make their way into the upper bracket of the group stage. I'm stunned, Blake. Like, I didn't come into the day, I thought maybe this could be the one upset, which in the context of this one match isolated, sure. But the fact that we've seen all best of ones go against what should have been logical predictions, it's so shocking to me.
Yeah, when I look at this game just solo, right, I think honestly the upset potential, you can say what you want about Enterprise. I just thought they played really solid Counter-Strike. It seemed that they were getting involved. The protocols were great. The utility usage, you mentioned it in the second half. They were nading so hard with those HEs and incendiaries.
100%. Really, really solid stuff from Enterprise. And while they had a lot to prove coming into this tournament, they're going to prove at least a little bit by beating out Wisla Kraków. So that will do it for our best of ones. It's back over to the desk. And I believe our host, James Bonks, is with us here.
Kill me now. Dear God, get me out of it. I can't take it anymore.
That's day one.
2 best of 3s to go, by the way.
Solid.
Just so
we have sat with all the upsets, though, completely. They were right about that, right? In terms of when you go to Ancient in a best of 1 scenario, such a new map, we still see even the top teams that want to pick into it, right? There's this very, I guess, kind of completely versatile map, right, in the sense that sometimes we just see people have some success and at other times people they don't have a clue what they're doing, what they're playing on it. Enterprise this time, it seemed to work out for them. It was very confusing play. There was a lot of absolutely bonkers plays going out there.
It was very versatile, very versatile mistakes, like some pre-planned, some post-planned, some at the beginning. It looked like to me like it wasn't the prettiest CS that we watched
Definitely
in this game, right? But it looked like to me that the both teams had a general idea how to get into the site. But what comes after was the problem. Like, you can see people running like all different sides post-plant, nobody's covering anything, flashes not being used or being used at the wrong time. When they see the pathing of the people like going into the B side, especially in the last round that we saw, there's one guy just rushing long, one guy just rushing short, nobody's covering cubby. It's just all over the place. You can see like, there is no structure in this like post-plants situation, so it's one of the things that need to be looking at after this game, at least.
Yeah,
one of many.
Yeah, well, there's definitely work for the coaches to be done, both of them, for Ancient. But yeah, I mean, it felt to me like it kind of fell apart for Wisla in that second half when they had a string of rounds where they actually looked like, okay, they might be taking control of this game. Then they hit the bomb side and they forget that there's, you kind of need to plant the bomb, right?
There was that force-up round, right? The second pistol, he runs in, they get the kill, and he just hunts down the weapon instead of like actually planting the bomb, defending his teammates.
I understand the premise on that A bomb side of Ancient, where if the smokes fade away, it's mega hard to get a bomb plant. But it just means that you cannot chicken out. You need to kind of commit to a bomb plant while the smokes are there. That'll give you that cover you need to have, and then just have good post-plant positions afterwards.
It's also like they expanded the plant area on both sides, right?
Yeah.
So that gives you a lot of opportunity to actually plant the bomb in situations like this. It comes down like maybe it was the communication issues that the comms get a little bit clustered up in this kind of high tense games, especially like for these like young unknown teams where they like first game of the day, best of one. The comms tend to be like a little bit clustered up, and maybe there was like some sort of a communication issue. The flash is not being used, the post plant not being played right, the bomb not being planted. The spacing, the pathing, all these things like kind of go wrong one after another in a snowball effect. So it cost a lot for Wisla Kraków guys.
And now it sets up the Enterprise are through, right? They get to play tomorrow. They got a really good shot when it comes to that as well, because they're going to be taking on the Hungarian team that we didn't even expect to win their game as well. So there was a world in where Enterprise can just march on forward now and go into the main event.
Or the Hungarian guys.
Yeah.
I think, like it said, like both of the teams now, they enjoy who they got in that winning game, right?
Yeah.
Game. Yeah. So it's gonna be really good. Like both teams are gonna be coming in pumped up, getting ready to get into the second stage. Because if they run into a favorite in that decider game, right, it's not gonna be easy as it was in the best of one.
Definitely not. And the elimination matches that are set up, right, are the favourites now all going head to head across the best of threes, where we should see a bit more normality come into
A
effect.
lot more normality, yeah.
You hope?
Yeah. Hopefully.
I mean, I wouldn't put my money on that. All things considered, what we've seen so far today, but at least they should be.
Because it's illegal, that's why he's
exactly. Good, it landed. My point landed
there you go.
really well. There we go. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see how it all pans out moving forward. The loser of this Wisla is going to be playing against Fiend, right?
Yes.
Fiend is in a bit of a weird spot, obviously, with standing.
Roster,
They did definitely not look great in the first game we saw. But again, it's going to be a best of three. You need to have a bit of a bigger map pool. And you kind of feel like a team like Fiend should be able to bounce back, even though
that's the
it's a rough
second
first
game,
one.
right? That is the second game?
That is the second game, yeah.
I assume so. Yeah, you should give them a nice enough break,
yeah,
right?
The thing is, like, even though Fiend showed very little today on their T side, I think individually speaking, I think they're very much stronger than Wisla guys. So it should be going like in a Fiend's way, especially in a best of three.
All depends on preparation.
But the thing is, like, the first game is much better than the second game between AGO and Sinners. It's gonna be crazy. Like those teams, you would never expect anyone of them to be, eliminated on the first day. Those teams are like you would expect them to be like in the playoffs, maybe of the second stage right now, and one of them are gonna be catching the bus.
I thought you knew that was gonna happen already, though.
The Onyx bus was gonna be waiting for them.
But
The Onyx bus has now become theirs.
Cancel. They're just gonna tape it over like Sinners or AGO or something.
Replace the logos, new tape across all of it. But what we will do is kick ourselves to a break. We've got two best of threes coming your way. They're both elimination matches, which means two teams are going home by the end of the day.
Wait, what? I think I'm not in this one, but I'm in the last one, right?
Thank you. No, actually, you fucking started, you cheeky cunt. Because you said I nearly forgot his name, but I didn't forget his name. Right, that was some bad CS. Tier 2, you're being generous. Fucking hell.
So what's
Tier 2.
I was gonna say, like, where's the line?
Tier 4 was definitely what we just saw.